Meghan Markle roasted on live TV? The moment a late-night couch allegedly turned into a public dismantling. Tell us in the comments where you're watching from. In today's commentary, I'm breaking down a viral discussion circulating around a recent episode of The Graham Norton Show, where a mix of A-list guests, sharp humor, and unscripted reactions reportedly created a moment that social media hasn't stopped replaying. The setting is familiar. Red sofa. Live audience. Celebrities relaxed just enough for honesty to slip through jokes. That's usually where things either stay light or get dangerously specific. And according to online clips and viewer discussions, Helen Mirren allegedly made a remark that shifted the tone mid-conversation. The topic on the table, as it's being described, drifted toward public appearances, celebrity visibility, and how modern fame is shaped by perception as much as reality. That's when Meghan Markle's past public engagements reportedly entered the conversation. One moment stood out in particular. A comment circulating online attributes Helen Mirren with a sharp, comedic jab referencing a staged Australia trip and rented fans. Now pause. Because this is where context matters and where the internet tends to inflate fragments into full narratives. There is no verified transcript confirming that exact phrasing, but the reaction to the alleged moment has been loud enough to turn it into a trending talking point. And that's the real story here. Not just what was said, but what people believe was said. The idea alone was enough to trigger a wave of commentary online. Some viewers interpreted it as classic British humor, dry, exaggerated, and intentionally provocative for entertainment value. Others saw it as a direct personal jab that crossed into uncomfortable territory. And that divide is what keeps the conversation alive. Because late-night formats like Graham Norton thrive on controlled chaos. Guests are encouraged to joke, tease, and push boundaries. The audience expects unpredictability. But when the subject shifts from general humor to specific public figures, the tone can change instantly. According to online reactions, Meghan Markle's response in the moment, if present or referenced indirectly, was described by some viewers as visibly tense. Others argue there's no clear evidence of her reaction at all, pointing out how quickly social media can assign emotion to a paused frame or a clipped video. And that's where things escalate beyond the show itself. Clips started circulating. Comment sections split. One side calling it brutal honesty disguised as comedy. The other side calling it manufactured controversy built on edited context. But regardless of which interpretation people choose, the effect is the same. A single alleged joke becomes a global talking point. Because the phrase staged Australia trip and rented fans, whether real or misquoted, taps into something deeper in celebrity culture, the constant suspicion that public moments are curated rather than spontaneous. And once that idea enters the conversation, it spreads quickly. Supporters argue it's unfair to reduce complex public engagements to cynical interpretations. Critics argue that modern celebrity optics invite that kind of scrutiny by default. And Helen Mirren's name being attached to the moment only intensifies it, given her reputation for directness and unfiltered commentary in interviews. But here's the key point people often miss. Comedy panels like this are built on exaggeration. Lines get sharpened for effect. Tone gets amplified for audience reaction. And sometimes, what sounds like a factual claim in online reposts was originally delivered as a joke designed for timing, not documentation. Still, once clipped, shared, and reframed, context doesn't travel with it. Only impact does. So the narrative that formed online isn't really about a single show. It's about how quickly a perceived comment can turn into a cultural moment, especially when it involves figures already heavily discussed in public discourse. And that's why this story didn't stay in the studio. It moved into feeds, forums, and debates about authenticity, image, and how much of modern celebrity is performance versus reality. Because once perception becomes the headline, truth stops being the only thing that matters. Sometimes the joke isn't the story. The reaction is. If you thought that was wild, hit subscribe and drop a comment below. Wait till you see what was caught off camera.